For this week, I a thought that I've had for probably most of my natural life. The Order of the Holy Silence. Why we should start a cult.
We haven't already?
Bonuses to being cult leaders. Lots of pussy. Pretty much non-stop poon train. No need to do real work. We can leech off the fuckwits or followers, depending on what you want to call them. We get to play with lots of guns and weapons. Cults are often militia. Like very often, cults and militia are almost the same thing.
And compound.
I think,
Hello, compound.
People will do what we say as long as we ratchet the absurdity up slowly enough. So you got to remember, you can get people to do some crazy shit, but you got to just start
honestly
slow. Softball pitch it the first time.
Yeah.
Is that racing
like
thing in the back?
Is that what?
Is that a racing track in the back?
I have no idea. They just looked like cult members. Like, who else would, in their right mind, dress like that intentionally?
He's drinking the cult Kool-Aid.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it actually says
bullshit
Cult.
is
That's
awesome.
right. Oh, this is some sort of band, I think, that they were going to go see called Cult.
You mean it's
Downsides and how to avoid them of joining a cult. Cult members are usually stupid and annoying. We can ameliorate this by instituting a no one talks but us rule.
Ooh, yeah.
Cult members are also usually ugly, except for a few recruiters they send out, like honeypot kind of thing. We turn this into a positive with a simple no fat chicks rule.
Like the Mormons.
We simply institute a screening of all female members by attractiveness, but not the men. Thus, we increase the odds that the female members will want to bang us and be worth banging.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I think that's perfectly reasonable, right? What do you mean by that? How to run a cult. Now, I have carefully studied a list of items that define a cult, or as I like to call it, a how-to list. You just leave the organization to me. I've been planning this for years.
Excuse me, I gotta ask, why don't you have like one of those nice CULT things, like with all the letters standing for something? That I forgot the name of.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's a good idea.
USC.
You know, when we start our recruiting, we'll have to conclude that in the recruiting.
Definitely. I think every good podcast or every good presentation has to have one of those.
I'll remember that for future presentations.
Except all of mine that haven't, which is all of them.
This is why we all make such a good team, guys. Our cult and why it works. We will call our cult the Order of the Holy Silence. Obviously, God gets sick and tired of all the chatterbox type praying.
Yep.
So we will essentially act as call screening for Jesus. I think he would appreciate it, though, to be honest.
No, don't bother with that one. That prayer's bullshit. It's okay.
And this will actually satisfy multiple successful cult building tools at one time, simply by having them join us. So, in general, you want to create a general feeling of persecution. You want your cult to feel like everyone else is against them, because if they're against them, they'll band tighter together.
Which they will be.
Already believe themselves to be victims, despite being the overwhelming majority in most areas that they occupy. So they really do the work for us there.
Oh wow, that's a good practice. Why not fix what isn't broken? There you go.
Exactly. Why fix what ain't broken? This also submission is another big thing. You want your cult members to submit, and by running all communication to God through us, they're definitely submitting to our will. We'll say it's God's will, but that's all they know.
Direct all your prayer beams towards us.
This gives us control, because we can decide what prayers are valid. You can't see the air quotes I'm using, but valid prayers, and then that'll give us a little more control over the cult's
versus the
way of thinking.
Prayers.
Increased submission, because really, you want them to submit totally to our will as much as possible. That's a really key point. And it also gives us exclusivity, because we're the only ones that can forward their prayers directly to God. We're a fast.
I really like this. I like the submission idea. It's almost like, how sometimes you just have somebody in your basement and they're shackled up. It's like invisible shackles this time. You don't even have to go out and spend the money on all that iron.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like the shackles are around their mind.
Brain shackles.
Yeah.
We want to give everybody a really good case of brain shackles.
That was deep, Mike. That was deep as hell.
I like
man.
Awesome.
Eeyore is the true philosopher.
Gnarly.
Right. Here we have isolation and you. And this is what Mike was talking about earlier, referring to, is we will absolutely need to have a compound.
Yes.
In order to maintain several other cult building tools.
I mean, yay.
Also, compounds are fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
With compound, we can utilize the following tools to make our cult stronger. So one of the things they talk about is love bombing. Generally, this is just everybody being really friendly and really welcoming the person in the group, but I like to think orgies would be more effective.
Can we be like dressed up in like costumes during this?
Oh no! Look, see, I've already planned out some costumes. You can see in this.
Good. Okay.
I would like to make the suggestion that in person, like when we interact with each other on a personal basis, we are extremely rude to each other.
There you go.
Not even like in a sarcastic way.
And this is
mean-spirited.
This would fall under the next thing. We're going to have classes where we teach people how to be members of our cult. We have to give them special knowledge. We can just make this shit up. And like things like being rude when you meet each other would be great. Like God likes rude people. Who knows?
People love having the inside track.
And then we definitely want to indoctrinate everybody. We want to include indoctrination into every step. And so I'm thinking this will probably or possibly involve doses of hallucinogens.
Awesome.
They don't need to necessarily know we're giving them to them. Because they're Christians and all, we can probably do some sort of communion and they just won't realize they're being slipped acid or mushrooms.
No, just call it like God pills or something. I don't know.
Well, they're in. Since we're the direct relation to, like we're the direct connection to Jesus, obviously when we do communion, it's way more effective than with that weak-ass wine.
Oh yeah, we believe.
Okay.
We believe in the super duper Eucharist, which is better.
Peyote.
And it's
It's just peyote. That's it. That's all we're giving them. It's
Yeah,
just a bunch
you
of
get-
like fucking.
If you pay us for the
natural.
bread, it's better because in
Nothing but peyote and
Ephesians,
semen.
in Ephesians 5 something.
Oh god.
Wow.
Okay. Why we need a hierarchy, and this may be one of the more important things. People need hope, even stupid cult members. By creating 3 or 4 layers of authority between us and the peons, we look more official and make it much harder for the really dumb ones to annoy us. This will also be a corporeal demonstration of salvation, which is also another important cult building tool. They generally don't say that it has to be corporeal, but if you give them like levels to achieve, and some people get those levels like higher ups, everybody feels more important.
I say we even start like a really complex bureaucracy where with a bunch of forms that you have to fill out to move on to the next
That's
level.
what he's saying. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
So
Absolutely.
much.
3 or 4 layers of authority between us and the general public, other than the ones we want to put our dicks
And
in.
the fact that we'll have corporeal demonstrations of salvation gives us an edge over almost every other religion and cult.
And I also think the second and third levels of the hierarchy should be flipped. So when you achieve the second level, you actually have power over the people on the third level, and then you try and move up to the third level, where you are then subservient to all the newer people on the second level.
Yeah.
But then on the fourth
However you
level,
wanna
once
do
you get there, that's like a despot, you know?
It just has to be ridiculous. That's the whole point. Like, as ridiculous as we can make it, it's complicated.
It has to be spiritual and
Spiritual, yeah, spiritual. We're not going to tell the peons the truth. I mean, come on. This is just between us and our audience.
No, we're going to tell them the absolute truth.
Well, yeah, okay. Obviously. Signs of danger that we need to watch for.
As they need to understand it.
We need to watch the peons for any signs of critical thinking, any other people claiming to have visions, and people who claim we are wrong by citing actual facts. So that's the stuff we really need to be aware of. Just to, got to be aware of that and nip it in the bud.
So
Actual facts are inconvenient.
Yeah, what's the odd, unscientific thing we're going to hang on to? Like that the Earth is the center of the universe. What's the thing that we're going to...
I'm not sure. We'll have to come up with that.
Maybe
when
like
we're planning classes.
woolly mammoths never existed.
Something like that. They're just like knitting over like...
Or they still exist. And they're in
somebody
charge.
knitted sweaters and put them on elephants a long time ago.
Someone has to stand up to them before it's too late.
Yeah.
Or maybe like if you go outside in shorts, you get a cold.
Yeah, something like that.
Like no matter what season, you have to bundle up all the way.
Yeah. And then we also are definitely going to have an enforcement group, enforcers, a necessity. Because what we got to watch for, we got to nip those trouble spots in the bud. We need enforcers to maintain discipline within the group, obviously, because we're going to be on a compound. Now, all the literature I've seen talks about utilizing shunning people for leaving and disagreeing with the cult. I think we can do better. Execution, preferably in public and carried out by members selected at random for the honor of executing the bad people.
Wow.
Will be much more effective, in my opinion. I think that will definitely bring more, even a deeper level of submission if we randomly select people to carry out the executions of the smarter cult members.
That's not dark.
I'm loving your B-roll kind of pictures here because I swear to God, those are two people in complete SWAT gear and or hazmat masks, and they look like they're in a pro wrestling ring.
They're pro wrestlers.
That is awesome.
Pro wrestlers. Like Hulk Hogan.
Hey, if I went to a wrestling ring, I'd be wearing that shit too.
Yeah.
All right. Now here's a good part that we definitely want to work with: gender roles and appearance standards. Now, one of the more important things we can do is have strictly defined gender roles. Dumb people are happiest when told exactly what they can do and then praised for doing it. And I think I've got a couple of really dumb-looking motherfuckers in this picture.
Yeah, I think women definitely have to be the pie-making machines of our
gender
society.
roles for women. Being naturally weaker and prone to obedience, women will make the ideal domestic engineer.
Domestic engineer.
We'll use this term since it sounds better than maid/whore.
What about maid whore?
Domestic engineer. It sounds better than maid/whore.
Does it though?
To the women.
No, we don't.
We'll have to agree to disagree.
Women will do the cooking, cleaning, childcare, and make themselves available for sex 24/7. Regular sexing keeps people happy and content.
That's me.
Gender roles for men. Men are naturally stronger and more fit for labor, so they will fill in the roles of hard labor, farm work, guard duty, enforcing, and any man with more than 2 brain cells to rub together can help with the administration through our multiple levels of bureaucracy.
But we're not like regular men. We're not going to be doing any of that stuff.
No. We're the leaders. This is all for everybody else.
So we're better.
Okay. And now I think as a last note, we'll finally end with appearance. We already covered the no fat chicks rule, but this is different. Essentially, we need uniforms or a standard of dress. Now, my thought are for men to wear a loincloth, wife beater, and top hat. I also think women should wear a bikini bottom and nothing else. The only exceptions will obviously be due to whether, however, we're all in this together, so I'm open to discussion. I mean, I assume frostbite would be not very sexy, but I don't know, class may enjoy it. So
I'd say within the compound, this is definitely the wear we should use. But outside of it, we don't want to get all that filthy heathen thought and.
Bundle up from head to foot like in burkas, right? Men and women both.
Yeah. But
we even allow people to leave the compound? I mean, realistically,
the ones that are really true believers. We're gonna have people go out to recruit. We don't want to have to do that. That's a lot of work.
So like maybe the third level of bureaucracy, the mule level, we can send those people out to like do chores and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Errands. Like when we wash all the top hats.
Yeah, absolutely. And then here we have our contact page for cult admissions. Contact 4DMike at MrFriendlyHands.com. For cult information, we have Inglehearth at youarespecial.com.
Yay.
For any legal issues, we have Walter Classholes at notafilthydewlawyer.com. For leadership consultation, we have Stabicus Finch at totallyhonest.com.
He's just a filthy Jew.